Good morning, my beautiful friend. You guys love the video that I gave you about save money on meat. I'm gonna take you guys on a little adventure with me. We're gonna go to the grocery store and we're gonna do grocery shopping. I only have $50. $50 have to last us from 2 to 3 weeks. Before I go though, I want to give you guys some in-car advice. Number one, always make a list when you go to the grocery store, because what ends up happening is you go in there and you start buying things that you don't need. And because we're going to be making lists, you always want to put whatever is more important on the top and what's least important on the bottom. Something else that I highly recommend you do before we go out to grocery shop is to bring a calculator, whether that's an actual calculator or using your phone, because if you have a budget, you got to stick to that budget. There's a new app out there that is currently doing promotions on food that's about to expire. Now, I know that expiration dates are always iffy, but this app, I think, does it like a couple of days, couple of weeks before. I wouldn't use it on anything that is store made, like breads or dips or anything like that, but anything that you can cut up and freeze before the expiration date, I would highly recommend for you to at least check it out and see if it's a possibility. I did want to make a quick pause and I wanted to show you the actual app I'm talking about. It's called Flash Foods. What this app basically does, it takes your location and any stores that are in their programs. For example, ours are going to be the Shop and Stop because they're here in Monmouth County, but whatever store is in their program, they usually have a location set plus the food that they are going to just throw away. There are so many other apps that you could also download, such as Groupon. There's also one for like restaurants specifically that are going to throw out at the end of the night. But go to your app store, look up which ones work for you, and grocery shop from there if you have to, if you're on a budget. I always buy exactly what I need and I don't buy over, just because, especially when it comes to fruit, if I buy over, it will literally spoil in my fridge or on my counter, and we don't want that because that is just wasting money. Those are just some quick tips that we're going to remind ourselves of before we go to the grocery store, but I'm going to show you guys how I actually shop inside to save some money. So as part of my grocery shopping plan, what I usually do in the beginning of the month, I will buy meat and protein once and it will last me about a month to 2 months. Therefore, I don't have to keep rebuying protein whenever I go into the store. Vegetables are super hard to shop for, and because of that, I usually try to just opt for the cheaper version of them. I also try to look at the prices as much as possible. I don't just grab and go, because look at these beauties here. The other ones were $155, but these are $125 and they were marked down 30% cheaper. And I did grab two because at the end of the day, it ends up being cheaper than the original one. Something else that I do is buy loose. And yes, this is already sectioned out, but this still counts because not every one of those bundles are going to be the same weight. And if they're just one price, then I will try to grab the one that looks the best. Broccoli is also a really good thing to buy loose because you get to decide how much you actually bring home. When it comes to anything prepackaged, I stay away from it because for some reason it's always twice as much as something that hasn't been touched or cut yet. And I'll tell you from personal experience that those dollars add up. When it comes to vegetables, I usually try to stock my fridge up with the essentials. So anything that I can make more of, for example, celery, carrots, potatoes, peppers, those I can make in stew. I can make them baked, I can stuff them in turkey and chicken, anything like that I can reuse over and over again. Most of this stuff is usually always in season, but things that are not in season, for example, this watermelon, it's $3.99. Look how tiny it is. I am not going to be grabbing that. Avocado, on the other hand, is an essential in my house, and $2.99 for a pack is actually not bad, especially for our area. So I will actually grab this and I will take this home with me. If you don't like the avocados in your area, I highly recommend for you to check out Trader Joe's. They usually have a pretty good selection of avocados. Now I'm showing you some shrimp here and it's $3.99, and because it's on sale, I'm only going to grab one because I've already bought in the protein for the month, but this is one of those things that rarely ever go on sale, so I'm gonna just grab it just so I can have it in my refrigerator. Same thing with this pink salmon. It's not actual salmon, but it's definitely a good alternative if you're on a budget because it comes with multiple pieces and it was on sale today. Things like butter and cheese, I also try to get on sale just because both of them are really expensive on their own. Because the holidays are coming up, they're also gonna start bringing in things like duck and turkey. This duck was on sale, which was actually ridiculous price. It was $18.79 for that small duck. So I went to go check the turkey and it was 89 cents, and that whole turkey was also 18 and some change. So if this was me and I didn't have a protein run already, I would have grabbed the turkey instead of that duck, because at the end of the day, the turkey has more meat on it for the same price. One of the things I used to struggle with was staying away from the inner parts of the grocery store, because look at all these goodies. For me, if I was to stay in here too long, I'd probably grab a couple of things that I really don't need. And because it's the holidays, they're gonna start stuffing these areas with a whole bunch of stuff. But let me tell you, you can make most of this at home and you don't need to buy it store-bought. Now, there's literally nothing wrong with buying off the shelf, but the purpose of my channel is to help you become a better homemaker, and that includes showing you skills like making mayo and making bread and making all of these other things at home that you don't have to spend money on or extra money on when you go to the grocery store. For this grocery haul, my total came out to be $49.79. This is everything that I got. It includes snacks, veggies, and all things good. But if you leave all of that in your fridge, it's just gonna go bad. So put it into Ziploc bags. You can do this with literally anything. You can do it with your protein, your veggies, your fruit. As long as you know what you have in your fridge and in your pantry, that is the key golden rule. Once I have everything cut and prepped in Ziploc bags, then I will actually put it into the freezer. And I do have a deep freezer. I think it's like a 50-gallon or something like that, but it's good enough for us and it keeps us fed for the longest time ever. Now, whenever you go to unfreeze, you will just take it out the night before and you let it defrost either in your fridge or in your fridge with some water. Please do not use warm water. It is not good for your meat. If you're really in a pinch, then I highly recommend for you to look up a crock pot recipe that you could just put the meat into and let it stew for a couple of hours. When it comes to taking out the meat from your freezer or your refrigerator after it's being portioned, always take under consideration how much your family eats and how hungry they actually are, because if you're portioning too little and you're gonna make them eat just a little bit, then that's also not good. So as a homemaker, this is your responsibility to kind of weigh out how much meat per person is actually needed for your recipes, and that is literally just a personal preference and by simply asking them how hungry they are. But it's also a good reminder that if you're going to make a little bit extra, then to save it for the next day, or save it for your husband to take lunch, or for you to take lunch, or for the kids lunch. Being able to do that is going to save you a lot of money, and it's going to save you a lot of time in the mornings as well. Now, moving on to your pantry items, I don't have a lot of space in my house, so I ended up doing like these cabinets, and this is where I keep most of our stock. You can see I have some beans, some turkey gravy. I do have a lot of Thanksgiving stuff that I was just collecting because we had a Thanksgiving party. But I try to bring in a lot of canned beans, maybe some tuna. Canned fruit is also one of my favorite things because it's just so easy to just take and go in the morning. I also have some canned veggies just in case I ever run out of the fresh veggies in my refrigerator. I'm able to just grab them and put them into our rice or into our meal just as something extra. Peanut butter and jelly is also something that I keep stocked in the house because we literally eat like teenagers sometimes. So this is a great alternative to have. Things like beans and also some pasta and rice are things that I always keep stocked in my house. And I try to get varieties whenever I go. Like for example, I have pinto beans, kidney beans, I have white beans somewhere in there, some lentils, the rice. I also have a couple different kinds of rice just because I get tired of making the same thing over and over again. And then I also try to keep some nuts, walnuts, hazelnuts in stock just in case I ever want a little snack. But building this stock doesn't have to be complicated. What you can do is go to the grocery store, do your normal shopping, and if you have a little extra money, just grab an extra pack of beans or an extra pack of rice, or you can buy some dried ingredients like pancake mix just to have as a backup in case you don't have something. If you found this video helpful, or if you just want to learn some homemaking skills, then this is going to be the channel for you, and I hope to see you next time.